Good evening, everyone. I know many of you. For those of you that I don't know, my name is Jim Johannsen. As Alan said, my role is Illinois State Director for the Conservation Fund. I'm also president of Prairie State Conservation Coalition as of a couple weeks ago. But before I took on either of those roles, I actually worked with tonight's award recipient for about 12 years when I was at the Joe Davis Conservation Foundation. So, as Ellen said, right before I got to know Steve, I actually worked for NLI. Right after college, I promptly moved back into my mom's basement. Where's Mom? There's Mom. Thank you, Mom. And I spent the better part of a year working at Natural Land Institute as Jerry Paulson's assistant. I don't think we decided Jerry's not here yet, right? Yeah. Well, eventually Jerry ran out of money to pay me, and I wanted to move out of my mom's basement, as nice as it was. So I moved a couple counties west and took a job with Joe Davis Conservation Foundation. And this was in 2012, and in fall of that year, I and a few of my coworkers boarded a plane to fly out to Salt Lake City, Utah to attend a conference. And I don't know what we were talking about. It was probably something about migratory birds or butterflies or wildflowers or something. And this guy, a few rows behind us in the airplane, piped up and said, "Well, hi, my name's Steve. I think we're going to the same conference." I said, "Oh, yeah, nice to meet you." He was a pretty nice guy. We exchanged a few pleasantries, and I thought, okay, I'll never see that guy again. Well, lo and behold, less than a year later, I was sitting at my desk at JDCF, and that same guy walked into my office and said, "Hi, I'm Steve. I'm your new boss." I share this story because first impressions are important. I could tell I liked this guy from the first time I met him on that plane sitting on the tarmac at O'Hare Airport. But what I didn't know is that over the next 14 years, I would come to love this guy like a brother, a much older brother. In this line of work, you meet a lot of passionate people. Some of us are passionate about the birds, butterflies, all the other critters in the prairies and forests that they call home. Some of us are passionate about the human communities in which we work, striving to connect our fellow humans more closely to nature, both the communities that live here now as well as the indigenous communities that were removed from this land but still call it home. And some of us are passionate about nature education, instilling a love of nature in children and preparing the next generation of stewards to care for this small, watery space rock that we call Earth. But it's really rare that you meet somebody that cares equally about all three of those things and gives so much of themselves to advancing our collective mission of conservation. This is a man who really never stops working. His wife is here tonight, she can attest to that. And he'll continue pushing for what he believes in after his planned retirement comes this coming summer. He might have a few more gray hairs than he did when we first met on that plane 14 years ago. And if I'm being completely honest, some of that's probably my fault. Mom will tell you I was never very good at taking orders, and I'm sure I was a difficult employee at times. And with over 40 years of conservation under his belt, thousands of acres saved, millions of dollars raised, bridges built between different peoples and cultures, hundreds, maybe thousands of children taught to love nature, 2 nature education centers founded, and dozens of young people mentored, including yours truly. I can't think of anyone more deserving of this honor tonight. Steve, congrats on your upcoming retirement. Good luck with your third act, and congratulations on being this year's recipient of the George and Barbara Fell Award.
I feel so unworthy to be standing amongst the other folks that have received this award. Thank you, Jim. Thanks to the board of NLI, to Mark and to Alan, and all others who contemplated who would receive this year's award. It's truly humbling to be standing here in front of you and to receive this honor. So I'm grateful to you. Alan, it's wonderful to see your presentation, and it's amazing the work that NLI has done to preserve 19,000 acres of natural land and conservation farmland. I've got to figure out how to advance slides here. Okay, I'm seeing cranes, which are really cool. Okay, is there any way I can see what I'm at? Is there an earth up there?
Yeah, there is.
Okay. You can move ahead. One, thank you. Kudos to your hands-on restoration and all the hard work that you do to restore habitat and rebuild these natural communities. And look at all of the people in this room. Volunteers, I wish you would have stood up because I know it's more than the stood up. But all of you are part of this amazing conservation community that you've built together. And it has power, and it has resilience, and it has deep meaning for not just you people in this room, but for many residents who visit your preserves. And thank you for doing the hard work that you're doing in building this community. Plus, it's nice to be in a room full of nature nerds, nature lovers, bird nerds, however you just determine and identify yourself. I really feel at home here among this crowd, and it's really a nice feeling. I didn't bring my phone up, but man, I'd like to take a picture of all of you. It's a pretty incredible view. So I do feel compelled to start with some tough news. Oh, here we go. Let's take a picture. Maybe I'll do it'll just be a couple of pictures. A piano would be nice, but that's too complicated. I do feel compelled to start with some tough news. As Alan mentioned, we lost one of the greatest friends of conservation on February 27th, Nancy Hamill Winter. She was a dear friend of mine. And it's likely I would not be standing in front of you tonight if it was not for her last decade of mentorship and support of our work at Joe Davis Conservation Foundation. She was a fierce advocate for conservation, and I do mean fierce. She was an ardent supporter of NLI and JDCF, and the contributions she made to land preservation and habitat restoration in Northern Illinois rival those of your founders, George and Barbara Fell. We will deeply miss her and her leadership, but perhaps it's no surprise that I've heard her whispering in my ear lately, just get on with it, Steve. We need to continue the good fight. So that's what we're going to do here tonight. It's perhaps this continued loss of a generation of great conservationists that has caused me to become laser focused on one question these past few years and months. Who is going to fill this room in 25 years from now when many of us are gone or no longer active? I don't think we can just hope that this will happen. I think we need to act to make it happen. So just how do we make sure this room is full in 25 years? How do we inspire the next generations of conservationists in Northern Illinois to carry on the good work that all of you have invested in? I really think the answer to this question comes in the words and actions of one of the greatest environmentalists, scientists, and writers of the 20th century. Rachel Carson. She left us a call to action, and it's a calling that might surprise you. Some of you in this room know Rachel Carson for her scientific study and writing about the oceans and the beautiful and mysterious biodiversity, the sea, in some of her bestsellers like The Sea Around Us, which I read probably when I was 15. But most of us know Rachel Carson because of her seminal work, Silent Spring, published in 1962. Get this. This scientific nonfiction book spent over 120 weeks on the New York Times bestseller list. It literally flew off the shelves of bookstores around the country. You remember bookstores, right? Silent Spring also started the modern environmental movement, something Rachel didn't intend to do, but it led to the Clean Water Act, the Clean Air Act, the forming of the EPA, and the first Earth Day celebration in 1970. In Silent Spring, she provided indisputable scientific proof that the herbicides, pesticides, and fungicides that we were spreading with reckless abandon across the United States was leading to a toxic plague that could exterminate or threaten the very existence of many forms of life on this planet, including our national symbol, the bald eagle. Next slide. But here's where her story takes a really remarkable turn. At the same time she was researching the science behind Silent Spring, an intensive research project we can't even imagine, she made time to take children out into nature and studied how they learned. What she discovered was a fairly easy and straightforward way to inspire children to be caretakers of the earth she so loved. This led her to write what I believe to be her most enduring contribution to conservation. This lesser-known book is a call to action for all adults, everyone in this room, be you parents, grandparents, teachers, scout leaders, aunts, or uncles. In her last book, The Sense of Wonder, published after her death in 1965, Rachel shifts remarkably from a scientific focus to the importance of our emotional connection to the earth, best formed when we are children. Listen to her words. This is a scientist speaking. If facts are the seeds that later produce knowledge and wisdom, then the emotions and impressions of the senses are the fertile soil in which the seeds must grow. The years of early childhood are the time to prepare that soil. Once emotions have been aroused, a sense of the beautiful, the excitement of the new and the unknown, a feeling of admiration or love, once found, this has lasting meaning. Rachel Carson knew that the defense of the environment does not begin or end with scientific study alone. The defense of the environment calls us adults, includes us adults, and our willingness to introduce a child to the world around us. Here is her call to action to everyone in this room. If I had influence with the good fairy who's supposed to preside over the christening of all children, I should ask that that gift to each child in the world be a sense of wonder so indestructible that it would last throughout life. Next slide. If a child is to keep alive their inborn sense of wonder without any such gift from the fairies, a scientist writing about fairies here, folks, they need to keep the companionship of at least one adult, they need the companionship of at least one adult who can share it, rediscovering with them the joy, excitement, and mystery of the world that we live in. So poignant and powerful. These words of Rachel Carson have inspired me for my entire career. I spent my first 12 years of my career as a teaching naturalist and environmental educator in Lake County, Illinois. And I had the privilege of taking thousands of children during that time and young adults into the few wild places that still existed in Northeast Illinois. It was there where I witnessed firsthand the discovery of the sense of wonder and children being transformed by the natural world. For me and Joe Davis Conservation Foundation, I'm ending my career in the same way I started it, by developing a comprehensive environmental education program at JDCF. It's headed by my colleague over here, and I'm going to ask her to embarrassingly stand, Hillary Holt. I hired Hillary 3 years ago because she possessed the rare combination of a graduate degree in biological sciences and the burning desire in her heart to share the sense of wonder about nature with children. Last year, we doubled our education staff from 1 to 2. It's a big deal. And we started the Chicago Field Museum's Mighty Acorns program for 3rd through 5th graders in Joe Davis County. So I'm going to end with a prayer. My prayer is that each of you will find your own way to put this call from Rachel Carson into action. As a reminder, I've left at your tables a card for each of you to take home and put in a place where it will speak to you. So quotes from Rachel Carson. Last, I want you to remember this. Springtime is a wonderful season to take a child out into nature. Take off your shoes and walk barefoot through the grass with a young person. Feel Mother Earth beneath your feet. Crawl around on the ground and look for daddy longlegs and pillbugs under rocks. Visit a pond edge in search of spring peepers and chorus frogs, and maybe you'll even find a dragonfly emerging from its water world and ready to take flight for the first time. If you do this, I guarantee you will not only bring joy and wonder to a child, you will fill this room 25 years from now. Thank you for this great honor. Have an amazing night.